A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat.
Good evening, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCN. I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. This is a tactic.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pine. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful... Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead. Yes, Jean... Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused...
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more...
ludicrous, even. It's meant.
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every... It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision, about what? About anything, really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rag.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, call me mañana?
No, wait. The chief negotiator heard it from a man at the gates. Surely the Wild Pines group has more effective channels of information. After all, 2,200 people are on strike. This is a big deal for them.
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to. If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
It's implied she's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always put... Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more... Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be fought.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. You asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but the point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi, from Precinct 50, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh, dear. Some kind of... I do believe you, naive as that may...
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of favors for... Consider this. Perhaps she has... favors for favor. Consider this. Perhaps she has been... Easy. Just offer her a favor.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret.
She wants you to help her gain level.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your... Or you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a loss...
Detective, a word in private before we continue. This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she simply...
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your... Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and...
The situation might have changed drastically, but...
You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months. I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think yes. Knowing this does not really change our position, however. I'm sure you will, Detective.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients.
Ingredients for what?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the union also produces the product? Sells drugs?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they are vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a... I'll be explicit. If you find this driver...
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with...
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently...
We know the company has launched its own probe into the union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able...
Well, here's your chance, officers. No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the East.
Well, at least this solves
What is that, Lieutenant?
why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first...
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi. But how do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were...
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000... Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. The two might even...
Or not. Though, if you have evidence...
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done. Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3... It may come to nothing, or it may... In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Is what you want to say. Look at that lady. Take a gander. Why, yes. Tucked away under that wild dove. These are the kind within reason. Now look at you. You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too... Maybe.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. Of course, Detective.
Give me a moment. Ask away, policeman. The hell am I supposed to know? Another nut job. Some lunatic lost his mind.
With how small these rooms are, wouldn't you want to break the wall down?
People come and go. I don't...
They probably just moved or died.
No one lives there. It's been empty for months. Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in there. Maybe it's those countercultural people again. Breaking into a house like it's a public space. You're a policeman. Be good and take a look, will you? Great. Young people. They're worse than rats. You know, always littering the hall. Oh, that one is a scientist. I think he studies astrology at the community college. Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall. The symbol of what and how? Ah, all I know about politics is that it's brought us more. The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the... She leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can...
She mumbles some kind of a response, then hacks something into her handkerchief. You hear someone walking around inside a poor communard from...
Do I have to open it? Do you have a warrant?
Let's go.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any...
Excuse me?
You have plenty of reason to enter.
Oh, come on.
Well, that was
smart.
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be here.
Her voice is really cheerful, despite her obviously hate.
Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not?
It feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Zone of Control written under a nondescript municipal.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour. I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place. It was some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a bit, but that was months ago. Anyway, it is. Everyone says the real estate agents don't do anything, but here I am in the middle of the night cleaning up someone's crash pad. So the sooner we get this over with, oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us, and again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Rob, a hole in the wall. Can you believe it?
The sum must have been puny.
Well, it does not disappear from my hands. No, I don't let it. These apartments are perfectly fine. I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to...
It's as if they're real wizards, able to resurrect dead.
Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea. Both apartments are now unrentable. Of course.
That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers.
I'll keep my armistice handy, Detective.
He doesn't actually reach for it. The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century. Even today, half to symbolize the toppling of the... Also, some social democrats were already... The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world. And because white is the color of peace. Nothing at all yet.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to... Oh, not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret. I'm a coal miner. Does anyone in a city like this? It doesn't have to do anything at all.
The inspiration will come to her once hell.
Shoot, Piggy. It's what you do, is the...
Yes?
what happened here. It will still be accessible through the apartment next to it. Indeed. This door is made of metal and appears to be number 28. This is where the clean...
Let's see if anyone's home.
This door is number 20.
Let's see.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? The smoker on the balcony. This is why we're here, right?
Suddenly, he's a little worried about... Don't worry.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here.
Remember, tomorrow, he's probably gone. This door is made of no one.
We should return tomorrow.
Son, you've really let yourself go. It's a disgrace. But Coach Physical Instrument is going to get you back in prime condition. It's going to take blood, sweat, piss, and... Behold, world. Here walks a sportsman, hands... There are clothes inside.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes. Good quality fabrics, best retro design. Save the economy with your style, officer.
Save the economy? That sounds off.
Haven't you heard, officer? We've got to be economic. Very cool.
You find your hands deep.
Economical, but also trendy. Look first hand, buy second hand. Keep the economy moving.
You find your...
Economical, but also trendy. Look
Something cold grazes your hand.
Good choice, officer. Mega sporty. And it's only $4.50 for you, sir.
You find your hand...
Economical, but also trendy. Look first hand, buy second hand.
You see two lowly...
I can see you were
A pair of...
those sneak.
Only... Fun Ultra. We're the future. You remember the slogan from some magazine? These once...
No, don't look at the speakers, officer. Look at the sneakers. These, officer?
Samaran trash. That sounds like they're from the...
No way, officer. These aren't for sale. They're bad speakers. Low-fi socialist junk. Well, if you want... But see, they are the pedestal for my sneakers. If on...
Damn. So you have to buy the sneak... You see a Samaran street vendor surrounded by a motley assemblage of goods. When he realizes you'll... The name Sileng is embroidered.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool. The goods are cool. The customers are cool. The place... You're very cool. Bang, 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 bang. You're right, officer. 100%. No playing around then. Strictly business. Maybe I can... Only the coolest goods in Revachol. I've got sneakers, speakers, extremely comfy pants too. Try them on right here. No shame, only freedom. I'm an entrepreneur, officer. I've got sources, buyers, suppliers, distribute. Good joke, officer. Here we don't...
You glance around the decrepit buildings, the miserable weather, the sidewalks strewn with...
It's beautiful. Beautiful freedom.
It is, yes. Anyone can set up...
That's right. No permits, no bureaucracy. That's why this city and its law...
If you wanted to...
Gossamer is a fine, filmy substance consisting of cobwebs spun by small spiders, seen especially in autumn. It's safe to say he's referring to the near absence of regulations.
Hyper cool. No need for discounts at ceilings, officer.
But did he first mark them up 100%? Just so...
My man, you know how the game is played. You and me, we should work together. What do you think? Anything for you. Me? It's a boring story, officer.
This man probably comes from Seaguy, sometimes known as the Apricot Suzerainty. Apricot Suzerainty calls to mind an era when the Seaguy archipelago was colonized by Revachol. It's a...
That's right, officer. But it's a bad scene for business there. Too many regulations. Hey, why not support this local entrepreneur? You can start by buying...
No need to dress this one up. Just tell him what you want.
Oh, okay. But why, officer? Ah, yes. Money is very...
Are you trying to ask for a bribe? If so, you're not doing a very good job.
Sorry, detective.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year. You should take care of that, then. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll fix...
Though he finds this... You see a heavy steel door with a prominent... You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue. The door does not. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads? Eccentric.
He's not bothered by your accent.
Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
The cobalt blue surface.
Can I help you? What thing? Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door. No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. Or some boring
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time. So I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though. After the animals. What?
You feel like you should come back to this thing-based question.
Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an...
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more... I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment. Not until you bring me the money.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to...
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transporting.
The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather
I confiscated this for a little while back. There are spinner hubcaps, Frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
A vanity he wouldn't mind.
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high. I took them and arrested him for driving. That they are. I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back. Yes, there's one 100 meters south of here. I think it's called Roy's.
Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under the Items tab.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners. A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. The light pole has been carefully cut. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's...
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Try to find something pretty and cool here. Then yes, this sounds of big men on
Franco-Nigerian nights. I used to be very serious about the...
a long, long time ago. They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented.
This is what the loyalists...
Which ones? Ah, Royalist soldiers from the time of the Revolution. The uniforms are...
You see rows of toy soldiers. This set of...
You're probably... I think their poverty has been exaggerated for... Maybe.
He seems to have his own take on the conflict played out. Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing
Oh, that's the Headless Phone Rider. The Headless Phone Rider. It's 50 cents. Bargain price.
He lost his cap when he lost his head.
Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky?
That was a very smooth salesman. The boomboxes on the shelf look well loved. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. This is you. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Is the Harmon Welshie W2? May... It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my... What can I do for...
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching them.
I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about inconsistent law enforcement.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Local. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained.
Entertained? He might be high. If he is, on what?
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here? Is it? Spring is capricious. The pawn shop is always open.
Okay, he definitely is high. Whatever it is, you looking at his wares, talking, a guarded man like him wouldn't tell you if you asked out loud.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant.
Yes, these are very, very good.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course, I meant no offense.
Thank you. Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest is for him. The windfall is a...
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps. I doubt it, but I can try and answer. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butch.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the...
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've... The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
She didn't seem like a police. Truth be told.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running a...
Miraculously, his face does not reveal what's happening inside.
Yeah, it's not good. I do hope we manage...
This mess, he means...
My apologies, officer.
A needle in a haystack.
Of course. Sure thing. You were... And I don't...
He's not telling you the whole story. It seems he's...
You weren't quiet. Yourself. You were very distraught. You said the gun was... When I said that I don't normally buy firearms, you put the gun barrel in your mouth and sort of 15 rounds.
The lieutenant looks from you to Roy, and then back to you. This has got to be the most. Wow. There's pity there too, in case you didn't notice.
No apologies necessary, officer. Sure, man.
couple of indicator lights are missing. This panel, you pull the lever. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. The spring brings the lever back to its original position. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored? The door is closed. This door can... Still no answer. Still, the lieutenant gives you... He doesn't like where this is going.
Yes?
You should pick that fat, juicy cigarette butt from the tray, light it up, and smoke the...
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love... Yes, not the whole damn Union, thank God. Just... they...
We should find out who this Lord faction is. We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry. Good question.
They're probably getting drunk or protest.
Whatever he may feel about you, he can't miss the opportunity to throw you a...
They probably fucking killed that guy.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later.
Yes? Yes. Have you got it? A lot. A lot. Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here,
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make...
I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock... Please pay for each night in advance, starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as...
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your Copo type. Guess. No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Huge lack of enthusiasm going on in here. No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in... Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can... That won't happen. This is the door to the room.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our...
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM? I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down but we performed a thorough search of the premises of the...
Though you really dropped the ball on inspecting the body, he doesn't want you to feel too discouraged. Probably out of fear that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
I look forward to that. We weren't able to find the union leader, Evra Claire, much less interview him. So that's on the... We tried to interview the White Pines rep, but she asked, I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get...
If Kim is emphasizing something with this...
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run...
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Ravachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station coldly. It prevents confusion, as you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks. We are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not... You have to supply not a good position to be. Yes. The last time was for you.
He says it matter-of-factly and moves on.
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government. the coalition government. The RCM was or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol, it's probably more honest, yes. Either way, the moral...
Or if they think you do.
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed. They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. What do they believe in? They are the Lorraines. They believe...
Those others?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love.
Something almost self-explanatory. Something ominous. Something even a little feminine.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? The moral intern are a fact. I tried...
It is more than that.
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s,
That's another leitmotif associated.
But the years have changed that. I don't know what. Do you? In fact, we would need them even if you didn't think that way. We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce. Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilante.
The dying. This soldier is...
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic change. Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
The fan stands still. The lights are on. The bed is cold and not particularly
The option to go to sleep becomes available every night after 9 p.m.
The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out, and then sleep doesn't come. Obviously, you're in bed with your... Maybe it's the bed's fault. Its synthetic filling has separated. It barely covers your... Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases. Something to do with... What was it that the lieutenant said? Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood. What it says on the can, Harry. Answer the question. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did. That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. Tell me, where are your friends? Human? No, it's gone. 3 times you failed Elysium. Everything. The Pale and the East. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4. No, you haven't. You'll just sleep. You'll be back in those cold snakeskin. Stinky boy. You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing up. You're trying to what? I can't hear you.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this Oh yes, time to go to work in the shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Oh, just a dream. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, but don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself. Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week? Let's be honest. Suit yourself. Slow, sad shell man. mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. The window stands broken in its frame. The door is closed. This door can only... Still nothing.
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The Union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. Everything points to the dock workers' union. The tracks in the mud, the circumstances in Martinez, my preliminary information. Which may, of course, all be wrong. But we still need to talk to them, and it won't be easy. I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the Union. These men here, men who drink beer for breakfast? There's talk of an armed wing of the Union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for... I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them, by the looks of it. One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it. That would just escalate tensions. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives. One more thing.
Good. A power move. Purposefully concentrate on something else first. But aren't you curious to...
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you.
Just a moment, officer. And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience.
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. Now, please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. The Union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there, or to let the young woman who's house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. I was also hoping... Oh, forgive me for not introducing myself. My name is...
A little missing persons puzzle might just be the thing to take your mind off the hangover.
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. You have more important things to worry about. Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly... But they should have returned by now.
The water lock, that was broken. Could this be it?
Oh, sweetie, Gary's as loyal as they come. Oh my. What happened to the water lock? Well, whatever the cause, I'm thankful. To both.
You're welcome.
I hate to ask, but if your investigation takes you to the other side...
This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery with, yes, some left-field scientific research is exactly...
And if you see him, let him know Lena is waiting for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work that he... Oh, you're such a dear. Thank you, sweetie. Oh, yes.
It's absurd.
That's one opinion, yes.
My apologies, ma'am. I didn't mean to undermine...
It...
Uh-oh.
Oh dear, I'm not sure where to begin. Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's. And his palms are quite...
You can't go around Revachol feeling grown men's hands. If you want to find her husband, you'll need more concrete information. It's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world.
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame.
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman's description.
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out. We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary via dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my accident. And he'd just divorced. We hit it off and, well, here we are. I hope I've been useful. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating. But I shouldn't bore you with...
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Well, it's a phasm...
Ah, yes. Phasmatodia. A diverse group of... Oh, yeah.
Where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It disguises itself among the reeds here on the Insulindian coast. Hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up
I knew it. We're gonna be chasing made-up insects with...
It's not made up, officer. I can assure you. It's simply elusive, so much... Well, some teenagers making out in the Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out... Not at all. Why else would it hide itself so carefully? Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie. Yes, it can blend in almost perfectly among the Oh dear. I'm afraid I'm not explaining this. Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure.
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about...
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told.
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid...
He nods. And cryptids. Let's hear about all... Ooh, tough choice.
That would be the giant of Kokonur. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur Desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren wastes. A mirage or a psychogenous... No one knows for sure. It is like an... The towering...
Who here? No animal can be that loud.
That's what makes it. There are.
Great. This is gravity anomaly. Digging.
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
The lieutenant pauses, thoughtful. Something in him.
Ah, fuck it.
Well, the smallest bacterial. Michanu disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the Yes, and she's quite mad. We can assume that she has been living the gnome of Jeroma. Oh, yes. It was. A couple of... It's still...
If the body of the creature...
Alas. Instead...
Alas. Always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
I understand your skepticism. What an
Of course. All fairy tale. Okay.
It's the Col de Mama Dakwa.
Col de Mama Dakwa can also be translated as a whisper light and low.
What about what? Of course, dear.
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a complete... Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garancy Quebec. Please, it's not funny. The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air. He looks up at you, then looks away. Shrugging is an international sign for no, I don't. He looks up. Shrugging is an He smiles and bangs his ladle. It's almost like music. It's...
Let me handle this. Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are?
Her entire character has shifted. This young woman is cold as ice.
Yes, extremely normal. I'm not a gardener, by the way, so let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information that will help you? That's Titus. Talk to him, but know this. I'll be keeping an eye on...
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority.
She says nothing. Her glare speaks.
Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems? What you want is of no significance, officer. What are we going to do to you? The Union isn't going to do anything to you.
Goddamn right it is.
If anything, it is the arse. Aggressive, you make your living enforcing violence.
So you were spying on us, and now you represent murder.
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Look, a comedian. Do your job.
Strange. It's as if people don't believe. Hey. Psst. Psst. Hey. Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building. You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people, who have more than 25 real in their pocket. Oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. You're about... Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it? Very well. I guess no one will build communism then. Tell no objections. It's mathematically impossible to achieve a class. Did someone mention cocaine? Are we doing cocaine? No. I'm sure. Anyone? Anyone else? There's one. You should build communism. Precisely because it's impossible. Oh yeah. Get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready. Too late to back out.
This is where you say your bit.
Detective.
Oh, this is about him.
You're sure taking your time, waiting for him to get...
Oh, he was a real pretty boy by now. Real hot stuff.
Time to go to work in the
Easy, boys. These janitors have a hell of a job cut out for them. I mean, I wouldn't go in there.
You might want to start asking your questions now.
These guys are so macho, they're ready to confess to first-degree murder. Do a head count first. Connect these men to the tracks you saw in the yard. Starting from the right. Boot size 44. Blonde man, in his 30s. Overbearingly masculine. Sitting on his right. Standard working boots. Size 45 or 46. Eldest in the room. Probably mid-50s. Smoker. Across at the other table. Hobnailed working boots. Size 43. Gang tattoos. Mesk or Sarah Mauritian. And then, standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes. Size 46. The big dick. The emblem on his vest says Rowing Club. A little in the far corner. Standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes. Size 44. 40-something. Non-alcoholic beverage in hand. You squint. Is that a plectrum? On his neck. Forget it. It's not important. Let's call this one the musician. Size 41. With the light step. Not a child, after all. An old in the middle. Heaving and wheezing. Big guy. Boot size 46. Deep marks. Probably carried the victim over. He alone is... In conclusion, these 7 are the actors on the crime scene. The footprints were theirs. Exactly. You've stood there for about 4 seconds, not...
The fuck is with you, fella? The pretty boy? You guys really...
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
You mean these boots? We all got a pair. We wore them the night we took the pretty boy out back and hung him. Yeah, we did this. Together. All of us. Goddamn...
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you...
All 7 together. They're diluting responsibility. It's an anti-arrest tactic.
How many people have you sent to the Shays? Ever felt remorse for them?
Chaise électrique is the method of capital punishment in Revachol.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
The River Esperance Correctional Facility, a military prison run by the Coalition, dubbed Reunion by the inmates. The origin of the name is unknown.
But you see, a lawman, is something people agree upon. And here in Martinez, we agreed that this man...
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a hardy boy without... Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
A trick question. Don't let her lead the conversation.
Who do you fucking think does?
It wasn't a question, dickwad. How fucking stupid are you?
This asshole is worse than... Titus runs the Hardy...
I think you got your...
Yes, there are some administrative differences. But on that night, they all acted as you don't have to keep answering his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
Known him? We don't associate.
Yeah!
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town.
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier? The representative for White Pines?
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us over. Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview...
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out of line.
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Cohoy and Seminine written off.
A live grenade. Right here in our bar.
This one has a special gripe with him coming.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hire merc shit like that. Story of it.
'Cause one night, he walked straight up to the mic and said, I'm RNA's god.
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there.
We couldn't believe it either. But he fucking did, right?
Sire, the tale is true. This is a serious violation of the karaoke code.
Wrong. He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened...
From rape to harassment to... He regrets mentioning it. Hopes...
To kill us all if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started to come in here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls.
He grabbed someone?
Yeah. This girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl. Young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs. Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt? Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle.
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you. He took...
Yeah, me and Eugene got around.
There's something. Seems like they don't want to talk about that rape Titus mentioned. Why not? This is a serious allegation. Make them...
Aren't you fucking listening?
Yeah.
There's some... Seems like they don't want...
No. You're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter. And I'm not discussing it with you clowns. We hanged him up by his neck until he got...
Didn't they teach you anything?
This is where an autopsy would come in handy. You have to work with what you know.
Titus.
We overpowered him. Dragged his unconscious body to the tree. Put a noose around.
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots, and...
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first. Then see if it all adds up.
With numbers, asshole. How do you think? You're right, Lizzie.
Weren't you fucking listening? The fucker came to our bar. It happened right here.
Actually, they're admirably... well, this one. But he's always fidgeting, so don't get your hopes up.
Like what, Copper? Yeah, lawman. Why don't you?
It's almost an anthropological site.
Not in the arresting mood?
By your side, the lieutenant keeps his hand away from his holster. You hear the knock. Easy. Walk back from the provocation. They're armed, and they outnumber us. The lieutenant tries to establish...
Wise move. You made the right choice there. Now make another one.
Nothing. Your investigation here is done.
I think we're going to stick around, thanks. Some things don't add up here. I've done this job for long enough to know that people don't just confess to first degree.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us. Real law official.
Rent-a-cop? So that's what this is about. He doesn't see you as his equals.
What are you talking about, madman? There's no... Or what? You want to be the...
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
This person Glenn wants to hire, he...
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do the talking here.
It has to be good, if he won't let you pursue it. Looks like the lieutenant thinks so, too.
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardy boy. It's a she, and you don't like us talking...
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a private Hardy boy. You're not cops here. Don't go digging around if you don't...
Good. We are all watching each other.
There's no point in pushing it further, he thinks. This is already a victory. We'll learn more about this 8th Hardy sooner or later. Establish authority. Yes. Authority. Feverish thoughts race through your mind.
And what exactly is it you've been doing that's so goddamn special? All the while talking racist shit. Don't think we aren't watching, Fascia. People here trust it.
Fascia. That's short for fascist.
Of course you have. You've been calling people Kip left and right.
Kali said they've been trying to set up a race rally, whatever the fuck that means. Trying to get the Kips out of Revachol before the economy goes to shit. Sure there is.
Get the fuck out of it.
What happened? We got absolutely wiped.
What's going on? Are you racist now?